Welcome back, everyone, to the HeroesHype Amateur Series Beta Finals. If you're just joining us, welcome. We are in the middle of a match. Kappa Wolves versus the PLEYZ. The PLEYZ are up 1-0 versus Kappa Wolves. But I don't know about you, Anna. I want more games, so I'm rooting for the Kappa Wolves in this one.
Always more games, Gilly. And I would love to see them played by these two teams. That last match was really, really fun. And I'm excited to see what we're going to see from the picks and bans here. And I already see something interesting. I kind of want to get right into the draft. Can we?
Let's do it. I'm hopping over. What do you see that you love?
Kappa Wolves banned Sylvanas first. And last game we saw them ban Jaina first to force a Lost Vikings ban. I kind of think that they're doing this because they want to have Jaina in play. They also don't mind having Sylvanas out of play, and they did force that Lost Vikings ban. So we saw Sylvanas ban from the Kappa Wolves, the Lost Vikings ban from the PLEYZ, and then a typical now first pick Kael'thas for the Kappa Wolves.
Well, you mentioned the Sylvanas ban, and I want to note that the PLEYZ Sylvanas play last game was on point. Those wailing arrows were insane, and I think they're like, okay, we'll respect that. We'd rather see if you are as good with Jaina as you are with a Sylvanas. So taking that out, also she's a great one to take out on this map as well. We see that very often, as with the Lost Vikings as well. And of course the players are going to want to ban Lost Vikings, which the Kappa Wolves would pick up in a heartbeat if they could.
Yeah.
But the PLEYZ are choosing to say, okay, well, we'll definitely take Jaina then. So it's going to be a little bit of a battle of the spellcasters as they also pick up the Anubarak.
Interesting. I mean, Anubarak has been all over our games lately, Gilly, and he's certainly not going anywhere. Jaina, very, very strong. We saw her banned out of the last match, so I'm excited to see her again. Kappa Wolves, not surprising me by picking up Vala. They're going to have two strong damage dealers, the same two that they had in the last game. So now it'll be interesting to see what they prioritize after damage dealers. It may be supports. There is a need for mobility on this map, so I would not be surprised to see people looking for Brightwing, but instead, actually, we're going to see Uther for the Kappa Wolf. So maybe we're going to see that stun assassin type play that I really love. I hope.
Man, I would love to see some sort of well, I would love if it was Kerrigan, but Illidan would be pretty cool to see too. Now the players have two picks of their own, so we're going to see some more damage from them for sure. If last game was any indication, I think they might just go ahead and pick up a Tyrael as well. They did so well with the Anubarak Tyrael comp. They had so many people on top of the Kappa Wolves, and that made it really difficult for them, and which is one reason I think why the Kappa Wolves went ahead and picked up the Uther. Not really wanting to deal with that fully and thinking that maybe Uther was the key to all of that. And the PLEYZ are going to go for a second tank here, this time getting Muradin. And Muradin Anubarak is even tankier than what we saw last time.
Yeah, the PLEYZ certainly had sustain on their side last time. They did have Uther as their support last time, which adds an element of tankiness to their support player, which is really helpful. So maybe they're feeling like, ugh, we can't have Uther. We're going to go ahead and take an even tankier tank to play alongside Anubarak. And now we're seeing Tyrande. This is the first time we've seen Tyrande so far today, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do with her.
Yeah, you know, Tyrande used to be in every single game ever in the history of Heroes, but she's not in it quite as much, and I think probably Blizzard are happy with that we're seeing a lot more heroes come out and be viable, but Tyrande is definitely still viable. She provides a lot of utility in terms of she's got a little bit of a heal. She has vision with the owls. The owls also can be really frustrating because you're able to use those to delay stopping those tribute channels. And then also she's got a great stun too. And look at that, stun from Tyrande, stun from Muradin, stun from Anubarak. It's the same thing that they had before.
Yeah, and I mean, though, we do have stun from Uther, potential stun from ETC, so maybe Kappa Wolves not fully giving up on that idea either. Their last pick is going to be Tassadar, though, so they may want the mobility of ETC with Stage Dive, probably, and Tassadar are going to be helping with shielding, so it looks like they're really putting a lot of thought into making sure that Vala and Kael'thas are able to do their thing and staying alive. I know that last game, one thing that we saw was that they just didn't manage to keep their damage dealers alive or in the back or surrounded enough. So they're probably being very cognizant of that at this point, saying, okay, we're going to have a very tanky support so that the heals keep coming. We're going to have somebody who can really be out in front and take damage and etc. And then we're going to have somebody who can shield and also get away and also lane. So I think that's pretty smart on their behalf. Now looking at the plays, though, they have Tyrande as their only support. We have seen that once or twice, that Tyrande could be a solo support. But do you think we're going to see that here, Gilly?
I mean, maybe if they've got really tanky, the rest of them are really tanky, and she really only has to focus on the Jaina, but that is pretty interesting. Would they be so bold as to do 2 tanks, 2 supports here? And then really they are. So that means everything comes down to this Jaina. Yes, Tyrande and Anubarak will deal quite a significant amount of damage, but it's going to be Jaina who will have to be focus firing, taking out the people with her burst damage, whereas Kappa Wolves do still have Vola and Kael'thas, but they went pretty tanky themselves, and I'm just now realizing that their only support is Tassadar. Oh no, like Uther. Oh man, I was like, wait a second, what? But I forget that Uther's just a very tanky support. So yeah, they've got a little bit more in terms of damage there. And they've got the ability to keep them alive a lot better now because they don't just have that Brightwing and the Murden. They've got the ETC, the Uther, and the Tassadar this time.
So it is truly, on behalf of the PLEYZ, a protect the squishy comp. They really need to keep Jaina alive to make themselves strong. That said, though, like you mentioned, Tyrande and Anubarak can help out with the damage dealing. So it's not as bad as sometimes where we've seen only one bursty damage dealer being the centerpiece of a team. They can still live, still get out of a team fight without Jaina, but they're certainly going to want to focus on keeping her alive. The Kappa Wolves, on the other hand, have what I would consider a more safely balanced team. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Especially when you've got so many of those tanky heroes relying on just one person to deal the damage. It's going to be pretty interesting for the PLEYZ, but let's remember that the PLEYZ are up 1 zip. So if they, even if this huge sustain kind of comes back to bite them, they still have the possibility of going for something a little more standard in the last game. So, but, well, I guess we'll just have to see. It'll all come down, like I said, to the Jaina.
And we are back on Cursed Hollow. So we are going to see a little bit different play than we saw on Sky Temple. If you're not familiar with this map, there are going to be tributes that are going to be spawning. Teams are going to want to collect them. If they get 3, they can curse their opponents, making it easier for them to push down their structures and wipe out their minions. But before we get into all of that, let's introduce the teams. Gilly, would you like to introduce the Kappa Wolves?
Yes, in the blue are the Kappa Wolves. Hawkfu's playing ETC, Fam is on Tassadar, and then in bottom, the party lane, Michael Udall is on Kael'thas, Big Impact is playing Vola, and Akaface is on Uther.
And for the plays, on Anubarak will be Zeus, Lex Uther will take Brightwing, Yell Cow will be playing Muradin, Jaina will be played by Evan Drinde, and Tyrande will be played by Pirate Rum.
All right, well, we're hopping into it, and once again, like we said, party lane is going to be here on bottom. So both teams going to have 3 heroes each in the bottom, and I really like that mid is Tassadar and Brightwing, 2 super solid solo laners here going to be here, but Brightwing has the bonus of being able to teleport in if needed right away in a fight, whereas Tassadar would have to run down.
Looks like Pirate Rum really hoping to get a bait gank here in the bottom lane. Evan Drinde being like, oh, look at me, I'm so weak. I could just be killed so easily. And Yellcow and Pirate Rum waiting to hope to get a pick here in the bottom lane. But so far, Kappa Wolves not obliging, not overextending here in the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, both Pirate Rum and Yellcow have those stuns, so they've got the possibility of being able to catch somebody if anybody from the Kappa Wolves gets a little bit too out of position. But so far, not happening. Meanwhile, Brightwing in the mid does have Bribe this time, so can get those stacks to be able to quickly grab any sort of Merc camp so that they can be pushing. Especially, we might see that right before tributes, so that they'll be pushing during the tribute phase.
I'm just so entertained by the patience with which we were seeing the PLEYZ wait in that bottom lane. They did finally get discovered and had to leave that bush, but the Kappa Wolves are still being very cautious, wanting to make sure they're not there for a gank, and now going to push in that bottom lane, see if they can get some damage. Wow, Yelko and Pirate Room were up in the middle to help, but it looks like they will fall back and try to get that pick that they were waiting so long for.
But it actually looks like Kappa Wolves are waiting for that pick to come in and wanted to try to grab them, but didn't quite do so. It's a battle of the ganks at this in this early game, as the first tribute should be spawning very soon, generally around the level 4 mark, which our teams are quickly approaching.
It's cool to see the teams kind of respecting each other's play and knowing each other's play so well. They're really mirroring each other, trying to both do the same things in the bottom lane. So nice to see these teams giving each other the nod, and it looks like we will see a little bit of damage go down on the bottom lane for the Kappa Wolves, but not a whole lot. They're being very cautious here, as well they should be in this game too.
I really like this early Siege Giant grab from the PLEYZ. It's super early. Oftentimes we don't generally see that, but that's going to be pretty handy. So we do have the first tribute spawning. Those will be pushing during that, and that's something that the Kappa Wolves will have to be aware of, so that they can push in. And it looks like a Nubrock's going to go back up. He knows ETC is soaking, which means that he wants to as well. Doesn't want to get behind the soak, but ETC actually leaving lane to come down here. This is a 5-person commit from Kappa Wolves.
Interesting, and Kappa Wolves being very wary of committing while they only have 3. Now they are going to be 4 versus 3, and this is the time where they want to engage. They're going to try to zone people away from Fan, but that Owl is going to interrupt the channel for the tribute. Evan Drinde, Yelkow, and Pirate Rum just focusing on making sure that the tribute doesn't get fully channeled. It looks like they will not commit totally to trying to grab the tribute, just instead trying to delay it as long as possible, as their teammates are staying in lane very solidly.
Yeah, the longer they can keep them from being able to pick it up, the longer that their teammates are able to soak more experience, and they got a good solid half level out of that. Zeus even taking down a tower up top, and now there's a really big minion push here on top, along with all of those beetles. This Nubrock is going the beetle build, and this is a ton of things all attacking the turrets here, but meanwhile on bottom a big push also coming in from Kappa Wolves. Gotta be a little bit careful. They don't have their level 7 talents now, which have just been picked up by the PLEYZ.
Yeah, speaking of talents, anything that we should know about at this point in the game, Gilly?
Well, there's a promote on each side. Tassadar has it for the Kappa Wolves, as does Brightwing for the PLEYZ. But Brightwing this time, instead of getting cleansed, went Gust of Healing. So really wants to make sure that they have the sustain needed in those fights, and I really love that talent. I think that it will definitely come in handy there. Looks like Jaina went for the slow instead of the longer duration of chill. And we've got the next tribute spawning. Zeus coming in, Impale going down on Michael Udall, who also gets hit by an owl, but Akaface is there to help heal up the damage.
It looks like the zoning will be in favor of the Kappa Wolves here, but all 4 members coming down from the PLEYZ, actually all 5 going to be engaging here. Looks like Uther is going to be stunned, then silenced, then completely taken down, and the rest of the Kappa Wolves will want to back out here. They do not have their healer. Michael Udall trying to get away, but is going to be stunned by Yelkow. We are seeing that stun come into such play. The heals from dead Uther are going to help, though. Fam, Big Impact, and Michael Udall are all able to walk away. Uther the only one to go down, and he will respawn right away, as kill timers right now are very short.
Yeah, the heals from dead Uther were really, really good there. A couple of stuns going down on poor Tassadar, who then also gets turned into a critter with the polymorph. So that's going to be frustrating, but look at this really big push here in mid. The PLEYZ are going to be able to pick up both of these towers here, and that's really scary for Kappa Wolves, because if they don't watch out, they're going to face a situation where a tribute spawn is up and their opponents have those level 10 abilities.
That's exactly the situation that the PLEYZ want to be in with this Protect the Squishy comp. They want to be behind a huge push, behind mercenaries, protecting the damage and dealing it from behind. So that was a really good position for them to be there in the middle lane, and they're going to look for lots of those opportunities. The tribute is spawning, and speaking of good position for the PLEYZ, it's spawning in a place where the rock outcropping is in their favor in terms of sides of the map. However, Kappa Wolves are arriving very, very quickly, and it looks like they will be content to stay in that little bush there, and that's probably not a good idea, as now they're being pushed out of range of the tribute fairly handily. Oh, but the Kappa Wolves will join. Hawkfu is going to charge in on Pirate Rum, trying to push her out of the way. Michael Udall looking for maybe the chance to grab the tribute, but now it looks like everyone is here except for Jaina. Jaina is going to be the last one to the party, and that's going to be trouble for the PLEYZ.
She was trying to get more experience so they could pick up their level 10 abilities, which they do. They now have their heroics. They've got the Starfall to help with zoning should they need to with this tribute, but Kappa Wolves are saying, okay, you're not going to get the curse, so we're going to be content to just sit back, grab our own heroic abilities, and then we'll fight you on the next one. Speaking of heroic abilities, we've got Starfall, Water Elemental, Avatar, Blink Heal, and Web Blast for the plays. What did the Kappa Wolves grab, Anna?
The Kappa Wolves have Archon for Tassadar, Rain of Vengeance for Vala, Phoenix for Kael'thas, Mosh Pit for ETC, and Divine Shield for Uther. I am a lover of Divine Shield, Gilly. Who do you think they're going to be using it on? I would imagine the damage dealers here.
Oh yeah, for sure. Maybe on the ETC if he does go for the Mosh Pit so that he's able to stay alive. Look, we've got promoted minions versus promoted minions here in the mid. Now, ETC is up top pushing by himself, and something to note is that he won't have the stage dive this time if they get into an engagement, but a great Rain of Vengeance comes down, stuns Anubarak so much. Right in the middle of that Phoenix, and now Haku's coming in and going to be able to stun the rest of them. Look at that Mosh Pit! Oh my goodness, Brightwing goes down immediately. Evan and Pirate trying to get away, but Jaina just gets melted there.
Yeah, she was not in position, did not expect that aggression coming out from the Kappa Wolves. I think that Phoenix is something worth talking about. The Phoenix size is so good for defending and turning a team fight right at a wall, and that's what it was used for there, especially with that stun, as you mentioned. So now Kappa Wolves feeling comfortable enough to not only go grab the tribute, but also grab the boss at the same time. They are going to be seen by Tyranda's Owl, but they certainly have time to finish this up before anybody from the PLEYZ could get over there to contest. And it looks like the PLEYZ aren't even going to try. They may be moving up toward their boss.
Yeah, they knew that the boss was pretty low already, and they might have been engaging into the boss plus the members, so they instead are going to go after their own. But if they're not careful, this could be a place where the Kappa Wolves could engage on them. The boss is still only halfway down, and everyone is heading toward them. Now they know Tyrande has spotted them with the owl. They're trying to finish it up, but it's going to be very close as Haku is trying to get in there. A great stun. Great stun on Haku, keeps him from being able to power slide in there. That is what secured the deal for them. A good Web Blast on Akaface means that he wasn't able to heal up ETC, and now ETC is down. So the PLEYZ have all of their members left, but the Phoenix is dealing a ton of damage to Zeus there. So it looks like they're going to be okay with leaving, even though they were able to secure a kill on that ETC.
Ooh, that could have been so dangerous if Kappa Wolves had been allowed to jump in and potentially steal that boss. That would have been a huge loss for the PLEYZ, but very well defended there. And now the Kappa Wolves will have to fall back and defend their top lane, as the PLEYZ also have to defend their bottom lane. However, that is a good thing for the PLEYZ as the tribute is spawning in the bottom lane. Both teams do have 2 tributes, so whichever one manages to grab this will have a curse. It looks like Kappa Wolves is trying to decide what they're going to do about it, and it looks like they're comfortable being cursed. They're going to just defend this boss in the top, make sure that they grab these siege giants here, and wait for the imminent push.
Well, it's already just a 4 versus a 4, and they do have 2 tributes. So if they were to get a curse a little bit later, it would actually be in their favor as long as they do a really good job defending here. So for now, it looks like the PLEYZ are going to be content with pushing here on bot. Their opponents, the Kappa Wolves, have picked up their level 13 talent. And it looks like Flamethrower was picked up by Kael'thas. Sometimes we do see the Living Bomb spreading with that one, but not going to choose to do so because that does require you to be a little bit closer. Having that Flamethrower, that extra range on the Flame Strike, means that you are a little bit safer in terms of being in the back line. And after last game, I can't blame them for picking that up, trying to just stay safe. They even got Fell Infusion at level 1 for Kael'thas, so really favoring being safe and not getting caught in a position like they were in the last game.
Kappa Wolves opting not to defend this push in the bottom during their curse, but instead attack the mid lane during the curse, then follow that up with attacking the top lane. So the PLEYZ are actually following them around the map instead of capitalizing more on their curse. However, Siege Giants were down there along with that push for the PLEYZ, so the Siege Giants did manage to take out that fort as well as the turret, and they're doing some damage to this wall here in the bottom lane as well. So Kappa Wolves do need to deal with that eventually, but we have an engagement right now, Gilly.
There was a great mosh pit, but nobody really capitalized on it too much until now, as Jaina does go down, but so does Kael'thas. Yelkow very, very low. They're trying so hard to keep him alive, but a good power slide will be able to secure that kill. And it's Big Impact, who is very low next. Does get a good heal, though, from Akaface, and now they're on the chase. There's only Lex, Uther, Pirate Rum, and Zeus left. So they're very, very low in terms of as health, though. So Kappa Wolves have to be careful in engaging here because they could easily turn around, and that seems to be what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I'm wondering about the decision of the Kappa Wolves to continue to be aggressive there when they were so low. We do see full health bars on behalf of the PLEYZ, and Zeus very actively trying to get the engage on Hawkfu. Hawkfu fortunately being able to get out, being unstoppable there. Kappa Wolves will retreat. They have all members up. So do their opponents. Who do you think came out most ahead in that curse and those engagements, Gilly?
I think that Kappa Wolves did a really awesome job of dealing with that curse. They got a fort in the mid. They got the towers down in front of the fort on top. So they're sitting really pretty there, even though they were the ones who were cursed. And now at any point, they're going to force the PLEYZ to have to go to every single tribute from here on out, because it's Kappa Wolves who will be the ones to receive a curse with one more tribute. And one thing to note too on top of that is that they're the ones who are also closer to those level 16 talents. So if they were able to pick up a tribute, a fight at a tribute while they have a level 16 talent and their opponents don't, that's going to be really detrimental for the PLEYZ if not played exactly correctly.
Yeah, Kappa Wolves now mowing down those bruisers that were pushing in the mid lane for the PLEYZ. They have their own bruisers with them. All 5 members of Kappa Wolves looking for a push, but it looks like the PLEYZ are not going to want to let that happen. They are going to stun Hawkfu, who is going to power slide away, but we have an invulnerable Fam also trying to get away. Yelkow is getting very, very low. Lex Luthor getting stunned. Great mosh pit is going to pick up 4 members of the PLEYZ, and that is going to turn the tides in favor of Kappa Wolves. Man, that mosh pit, Gilly, that was such an important piece of that fight.
They were baiting them into that choke, the perfect spot for that mosh pit, and it paid off. That was an amazing spot for a mosh pit, and they paid for it dearly in getting caught for that, as the PLEYZ had 3 members go down. Nobody dead yet for Kappa Wolves. Now they've got their level 16 talents. They're going for the towers here at mid, and look at that. Kael'thas even going back to pick up the talent or the tribute so that his teammates can continue to push. They really want to get a keep here, but the members of the PLEYZ are coming up right now, so the Kappa Wolves do have to be a little bit careful about that.
As you mentioned, they really were looking for the right time to have their curse, and they certainly are in a great position to have a curse right now, but they are going to have to be careful not to lose anyone in favor of this feeling of aggression right now. They may want to rotate to another lane, but it looks like they are going to be able to take down this keep. Will they back off now? It looks like they will. Maybe they're going to be looking for some damage in the top lane before this curse ends.
Yeah, there's already a really good minion push on top. They should easily be able to rotate up to that and get it. And they know it too, right? They've got the owl that's looking, and actually they were trying to go the boss and the fort. Pretty cheeky there, as Fam does have the promote, so that's going to be dealing extra damage. Look at those promoted archers. Deal so much damage to the fort. That's an insane amount. It went down so fast.
Wow. Yeah, taking down that turret in just a couple seconds as well. And it looks like the PLEYZ is trying to figure out what the best place to engage is going to be. They're going to go defend this top. But now the Kappa Wolves are tired of that toy. They want to look for another one, maybe considering this boss, or just looking to bait the PLEYZ into fighting them underneath it. They are going to pursue. They're going to continue. Oh, nope, just kidding. They're going to actually go for that boss. And they're going to be comfortable with the PLEYZ trying to engage here. However, the PLEYZ do have level 16 talent, so both teams equal in terms of talent tiers.
Yeah, this is risky and part of the Kappa Wolves, as they are at the same talent tier and they would have the boss beyond them. So they are going to leash it, stop, so that maybe they can get the fight before going back after the boss. It's all going to come down to if they can catch somebody out here.
They were looking for the choke mosh pit again, but couldn't quite get it.
Well, they did get a mosh pit on a couple of people, but a really good polymorph is going to stop him from being able to hold them for very long. But in the midst of that, Nubarak did go down. Evan, very, very low, is throwing a bunch of damage from that blizzard, but not quite enough to be able to stop them. And now Kappa Wolves once again are going back after this boss. And at this point, with the Nubarak down, I'm not sure the PLEYZ are going to want to engage back into this.
Yeah, Fam being sent out to scout. Yelkow is going to get the phase shift in from Lex Luthor and immediately going to look for the engage. Pirate Rum is a little bit behind. I don't know about how safe that was for them, but Evan Drinde now joining the fight. All 4 members of PLEYZ here, and they are going to take down ETC. Now that makes it 4-on-4, and PLEYZ is looking very healthy. It looks like Kappa Wolves are going to look for a retreat here.
Yeah, the PLEYZ were able to heal up, and that's the case. There's not much mana on the side of Kappa Wolves, and now they've lost Uther, who is desperately trying in his ghost state to keep Big Impact alive. For now, will be able to do so, but Evan is sprinting in, going to be able to secure a kill with a quick Cone of Cold. And now, because Kappa will have stayed around just a little bit too long, a well-timed tribute and the boss will both most likely go to the PLEYZ.
Wow, that was certainly a tragedy for the Kappa Wolves, and you know, that's what you get for being greedy. They really knew that they were putting themselves in a risky position taking that boss. They were willing to do it, but the thing is that they could afford to do it. They have a little bit in the bank. They're about a level ahead of their opponents, and they can just fall back to their side of the map, take some mercenaries, and not necessarily be out of this game. It certainly would have been more convincing if they had managed to either take the boss or had fallen back without losing team members, though.
Yeah, that is definitely true. They could have went back and gotten their own boss, but instead are going to just have to defend here, which means they might miss out on another tribute. They are going to maybe try to catch Brightwing here, who is very far out of position. A Living Bomb already dealing a ton of damage. Psionic Storm as well. They're just trying to catch up with her. She is just going to try to phase shift away, but does get stunned out and will not be able to do so. And that means the healer's down for 45 seconds. But while the PLEYZ are, while the Kappa Wolves are trying to deal with this golem of the PLEYZ say, yeah, we lost our healer, but we still have all of our damage dealers, which is all we need to try to take out your golem as well.
That's going to be trouble for the Kappa Wolves. They are going to have pressure on all fronts at this point, and the tribute is spawning, so they have to make choices now, and choices that they don't want to make. They are still a little bit less than a level ahead. They're looking toward their level 20 talents, and it looks like the PLEYZ are considering maybe letting them have that tribute. They have one. They figure Kappa Wolves can probably have one too. A curse is not on the line, but it looks like they're going to either try to interrupt or maybe look for an engagement. They are at a disadvantage from the rock outcropping though, Gilly.
If they can delay just a few more seconds, Brightwing will be back in here, and they did so with a really amazing owl. And here we go. It's all going to come down to Haku and what kind of mosh pit he can get, but he instantly gets stunned out already, and now a Web Blast is down, and Haku's getting very, very low. A great Rain of Vengeance trying to stop everybody, and does get a new Barak, but now Big Impact is really low and just trying to get away. Bam! Right in the middle of all of this, still doing a ton of damage. Remember, he's Tassadar, he's like impossible to kill, so focusing him is not exactly what you want to be doing, but because he was in front, that's what they had to do. And now they've got a good stun on Big Impact. You've got to get away, but look at everybody from the PLEYZ, very, very low on health.
Yeah, also Yell Cow managing to jump in and tank a lot of that damage, take the attention away from their squishies, which is exactly what he should be doing. He can take so much damage, and actually that worked on the Kappa Wolves. They kind of seemed a little caught off guard by that engagement, and it looks like the PLEYZ are still trying to catch them off guard. Yell Cow is getting very low, though, should maybe go down, getting shielded, but eventually going down, being followed up by Brightwing, and then Muradin. So much death and carnage, Gilly. Only Tyrande remains for the PLEYZ, and Vala and Kael'thas will remain for the Kappa Wolves. That should be enough to get this tribute, but Tyrande is really wanting to delay it as long as she possibly can.
Look at this. Level 20 talents mean that Uther came back up to where his ghost was. So they were able to have the two heroes to the one of Tyrande, and Tyrande knew it, had to back away before she got caught being out. In that engagement, I really wanted to note that we finally got to see the true power of Kael'thas. We talked about his living bomb damage once he gets Ignite at level 16. He threw a living bomb out that got so many members because it does so much damage, and they were clumped up and all very low. He got a double kill straight off of that, and that's really what sealed the deal for them. But both teams now have level 20 talents, and I wanted to mention that we have the tour bus from ETC.
Tour bus. Gilly, for people who are just joining Heroes, what is tour bus and why is that so exciting?
Well, Mosh Pit, the big deal about it, right, is that if you miss it, then you're just dancing by yourself, and nobody wants to do that. Not even Billy Idol. So you can... Mosh Pit refreshes the cooldown of Power Slide, so you have Power Slide even if you Power Slide into Mosh Pit. So you can Power Slide during the Mosh Pit, which makes you, A, be able to finally, hopefully, catch somebody, and then on top of that, increases the duration. So there was a tribute. Kappa Wolves are going to pick it up. This game is still very, very close.
They now have two tributes, so they are going to force the PLEYZ to really pay attention to the next tribute to avoid a curse. They are going to grab this keep. Oh, not quite. That Starfall is going to zone them out alongside the Phoenix. There's so much damage blocking their way. The Kappa Wolves are going to have to back up. They do lose ETC as well as Uther, and they're still on the run. So much health left for the PLEYZ, Gilly.
Oh man, Michael's doing his best, stunning Yell Cow, but Fam is up there trying to catch Evan, who does get away. Now Fam is getting back just a little bit, but Zeus, there he is. He's got the living bomb damage. He's going to pass it on to Lex Uther, who is also going to be pretty low. So Uther is here. The overlay is a little bit confused because Uther gets that redemption talent, which means that he dies and then within a certain amount of seconds will come back as well. So they really only lost one hero there, so it wasn't too bad. But there is a tribute spawning. I think the Kappa Wolves will be content to just let this go because they are still missing their tank for 16 more seconds. And in this time, the players are going to grab their boss and most likely the tribute as well, although Kappa Wolves are on their way.
Yeah, we saw that the second we heard the Raven Lord start cackling, the PLEYZ instantly ran toward that tribute, knowing that they wanted to grab the boss before the Kappa Wolves showed their faces. And now they're going to be able to zone them out of getting the tribute, but that's fine. If the Kappa Wolves do decide to leave, nothing's going to happen to them. They just know that they really have to get the next one or they are going to be cursed. It's now 2 tributes to 2 tributes as the Kappa Wolves look to defeat this boss in the top lane to keep him from demolishing their buildings. Now the PLEYZ are all moving toward the bottom, so we have to guess that maybe they have eyes on the Kappa Wolves bruisers or in pushing that bottom lane. Looks like the boss is actually about to respawn, so never mind, they're going to grab him instead.
It's a great play there, very aggressive, and the team knows that. I think that they are going to go ahead and sack this keep because the boss is already pretty low. It should die off of that or just a few shots from the core. Instead, they're coming in. They want to get this, but they're not going to be able to do so. And a great silence already on Hockey. Now, there is the mosh pit, and they do take out a new Barak on top of that, but Yell Cow is so tanky now. Look at what they've got at level 20. Hardened Shield on both Anubarak and Yell Cow. That Muradin is making him so difficult to kill. They've been trying to focus him, but haven't been able to do so. And now there's a boss, and all 5 of them pushing straight toward core. There's already a boss on core, and this core is super low.
Oh my goodness. Gilly, are we about to see the PLEYZ take this semifinal match?
Man, I think this will be it. This boss is still way up. There's not very much shielding at all. Evan bolting in, feeling so confident. That is it. The PLEYZ have taken out the Kappa Wolves and are going to move on to the finals of the Amateur Series.
Ooh-wee. A 2-0, but Gilly, not one that felt like we didn't get some good games. That was certainly well fought on behalf of both teams. You can see right now that aside from the fact that the cores are off, there was very similar experience stats, very similar kill stats, very similar structure stats. So both games going to a very, very late game in which just 1 or 2 small things turned the tables on those teams. So very, very well played by the PLEYZ. I think they just kept the Kappa Wolves not quite on the footing that the Kappa Wolves wanted to be on. Definitely were dictating most of the engagements that the PLEYZ wanted to get. And I have to give it to them. Just very well fought victory, but certainly Kappa Wolves, very great play as well.
Yeah, great play from both teams. That does mean that they will move on. Kappa Wolves will get to play in the 3rd place match. So it's possible they could still get some money, but they will we'll have to see who they will face on Wednesday, that's when we're going to be playing the other semifinal match. So it looks like Goon Squad took out Wild Growth 2-0, and Pool Play-Doh Some Tangos beat Team Solid 2-1. So solid play coming from Pool Play-Doh as they will have to go against Goon Squad in the next semifinals, which, like I mentioned, will be on Wednesday. That start time will be 6 p.m. Pacific time right here on twitch.tv/heroes_hype.
Yeah, I'm really excited. And as a reminder, guys, what is going on here? This is the beta finals. We're celebrating alongside HeroesHype. And what Eye on the Storm has done, Eye on the Storm being the talk show that Gilly and I have made over on Misclicks, we happen to, thanks to you, win some of the Blizzard Stream Awards. So we have a little bit of dough that we wanted to invest back in the community. So we've done that partially here with the Eye on the Storm HeroesHype Amateur Series Beta Finals. There's a little bit of cash on the line. The first place team will get $150. The second place team will take home $100, and the third place team will take home $50. So the Kappa Wolves, although they have been eliminated from competition, will be able to play for that third place spot. Get themselves a nice little skin. Maybe a monkey Brightwing. That seems to be our favorite for the night. But the other teams will face off for those 2 bigger prizes, and we will look forward to that Wednesday.
Yes, we will. So, guys, make sure you're following HeroesHype on Twitter. They'll be announcing it as well as here on Twitch. Maybe even hit that sub button if you're really enjoying the content that we have here on HeroesHype. But meanwhile, Anna, where can people follow you and see your stream and everything else you're doing?
Well, first of all, I would love to have you guys come join us for Eye on the Storm, which is our show that both Gilly and I do on Thursdays at 7:15 p.m. Pacific time. That's on Misclicks, which is twitch.tv/MISSCLIKS. No CK at the end of Misclicks. So please come join us. It's a show where we do a lot to discuss the community for Heroes of the Storm, as well as strategy and gameplay. We do that alongside guests from the community, usually pro players, but sometimes devs and other personalities. We also showcase cool stuff from the community, and it's a show that's just grown up around you and us and what we like to do together, so we would love to have you join us. If you want to find me personally, I stream every day, but it's all over the place, so it's either here or on Misclicks or on my personal stream, which is /AnnaProsser on Twitch. You can also find me on Twitter @AnnaProsser, which is probably the best place to find out what I'm doing because I update that most often. Or you can check out my website, which has recently been revamped, which is AnnaProsser.com, which will lead you to all the other things. Gilly, where can people find you?
You guys can follow me on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at GillyweedSC2, as in StarCraft 2. And I stream every weekday on there at 3 p.m. Central Time. So I'd love to have you guys come hang out and chat. It's a lot of fun. We have dance parties, we have crazy combos, and it's a great time. So come hang out there, and thank you so much for watching. We just want to thank you. Thank you to HeroesHype for having us cast, and we will see you guys on Wednesday. Bye.